Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I want to take just a few minutes to talk about Veterans Day and important work already going on in Colorado to support our returning service members and their families. This Friday, Veterans Day, holds special significance. America's part in the war in Iraq is coming to a close this year, and we have started drawing down combat troops in Afghanistan. In Colorado, that's going to mean about 400 Fort Carson soldiers will come home from Iraq in December alone. Many of the bravest 1% of Americans who shoulder 100% of the responsibility of keeping our country safe will be coming home all across the country. As these service members return to their families and many transition to civilian life, we need to make sure we're ready to make good on the promises that we've made. I asked leaders from the Colorado veterans community to make recommendations for how to make Colorado the best state for veterans and military families to live and work. After months of thoughtful conversation, they produced a comprehensive report called Better Serving Those Who Have Served that offers solutions on how to address the challenges facing America's veterans. A key part of this report is a new proposal to create a National Veterans Foundation modeled after work being done in Colorado Springs that enables public and private agencies to better collaborate to support veterans and military families. And this week, I will introduce a bill to bring that Colorado-based innovation to the rest of the country. The bill would create a congressionally chartered National Veterans Foundation to support communities attempting to work on a blueprint model like Colorado Springs. The foundation would help fill gaps in services to veterans by helping communities align and leverage their resources. I've also joined Senator Tester and the presiding officer and co-sponsored the Vow to Hire Heroes Act. The Vow to Hire Heroes Act does much to help veterans find good-paying jobs, including providing significant tax incentives to businesses that hire veterans. The Senate will likely be voting on this important legislation tomorrow, and I urge colleagues to support its passage. And before I sit down, Mr. President, I wanted to mention that 2 weeks ago, I was down in Colorado Springs, I think it was 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, visiting Fort Carson. And I went to see an elementary school on the post. And as a former school superintendent, I've spent a lot of time over the years in schools and tend to want to be there when the children are there so that you can actually get a sense whether there's any learning going on. This meeting was different because it was a meeting after school, after the children had gone home. 90% of them live on the post. Their entire lives have been defined by these two wars in Iraq and in Afghanistan. Their entire lives have been defined by the deployment of one parent, in some cases 2 parents, who've served 2 or 3 or 4 tours of duty on behalf of this country in Iraq and Afghanistan. Thousands of our troops are going to be coming home over the next year, and I think we need to be asking ourselves whether we really are ready to honor the commitments and promises that we've made. As others have said tonight, when you're coming out of what is the worst economic calamity that we've faced since the Great Depression, we need to make sure that we're doing absolutely everything that we can for these veterans, but for these people that are moms and dads of the children in elementary schools, just like the one I visited, all across the country. The children in this school, according to the teachers with whom I met, have faced extraordinary challenges at home as a result of all of this. It's another example of the work that we should be doing together here in a bipartisan way as we ask people to serve their country in these foreign wars. And I continue to hope that at some point there's going to be a breakthrough here, and we're going to get past the partisan cartoon that we've confronted for the entire time that I've been in the United States Senate, get back to the work of the American people, and get back to the work that will support the children in that elementary school at Fort Carson. And I wanted to say on this floor and for this record how grateful I am to their teachers for teaching, but also for giving their senator an insight into the lives of the young people that they're serving. And with that, Mr. President, I yield the floor.